democratic justice. That was Death from Above, once again by Rogan Ravenhearth, who provides a very apt description of what we do. We fall from the sky on wings of fire and smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit. It's just that some of us prefer to pack oral napalm barrages with us on bot hunts and create our own fiery pits. The main star of the Galactic Sphere News, the Metal Beast Fleet, has moved on to Marfark, where they are encountering stiff resistance. While it looks like they might, eventually, smash through SEAF defenses here as well, scans indicate that the fleet has been reduced in size by nearly half. So, just keep doing exactly what it is that you're doing. It's working. Just as before, the bots have fortified Martale behind them as they travel, but here's something interesting. Matar Bay has shifted from 4% decay to 1.5, showing that we are reaching the absolute upward limit of what the collective is capable of. They just can't endure the level of casualties the Helldivers are inflicting upon them, and their reserves are rapidly becoming depleted. This opens the door for a fierce counterattack once Fleet Metal Beast has been dispatched, which it looks like it will in the next few days, especially since I have news on reinforcements that will soon be arriving. Just let me cover these last few Galactic War details and I will get right into that. Pinky promise. Estanu continues to be a point of contention and is oscillating between small gains and small losses, yielding a pretty consistent hold on the planet that hasn't dropped beneath 70%. Once the focus shifts back over to the TQZ, I can see Estanu flopping over like my wife after a harsh day of work in the retail pits. I did try to tell her to enlist full-time with SEAF. We have an amazing healthcare plan, and her employment comes with a morale officer on duty at all times. Me. But no one listens to Pawn. Now that war movements has been covered, it's time to discuss those reinforcements I mentioned. The Freedom Alliance is most unhappy about how deeply the bots have intruded into our territory and are seeking a quick halt to these shenanigans. A new alliance order has been issued, so let's read the words. The words on what the silver shining leadership of the alliance wants us to do next. Thanks to the Helldivers' monumental efforts, the DSS is nearing completion. However, intel reveals that the Automatons are intercepting jump packs, alloys, and supply shipments to further enhance their lethality. With the rise of the Jet Brigade, we have credible evidence of a larger offensive that threatens our space station. This is a dangerous situation, given the threat of the Clume as well. We urge the Freedom Alliance to gather intel on the Automatons' activities and assist stranded Helldivers on the Western Front. With Alliance support, we can ensure the DSS safety. Seems pretty straightforward. The silver is significantly less wordy than those chucklemongers at the Ministry, to which I am thankful. It makes my job easier, and my kitty paws hurt after typing too much. Anyway, this Alliance order comes with 3 victory conditions. Retrieve 3 high-value pickups, that's bot skulls, from automaton fortresses at difficulty 10, or bug eggs from mega nests if the major order shifts to terminates. For those of you who look at the guaranteed near-instant death that is D10 and say fluff that, there is an alternative condition here, where you can complete 3 missions at any difficulty and extract with as many samples as possible for Alliance intel analysis, though you are instructed to prioritize SOS beacons. All personnel are required to announce themselves as Alliance members to shredded Helldivers to better serve democracy. Once these tasks are completed, make a post on the r/low-sodium Helldivers Reddit board on how the operation went for you, using the Freedom Alliance post flare. Alternatively, provide a report in the hashtag Freedom Alliance RP channel on the low-sodium Discord. You can also stop by and say hi to a certain resident angel if you want. If I'm not asleep or working on other duties, I'm always hanging out there, and I love it when my fans pop in to say hello. Lastly, you can add your report as a new comment in the pinned Freedom Alliance megathread on r/Helldivers. Wow, the Silver managed to get the official Helldivers Reddit board to play ball? I am seriously impressed. So, say D10 just isn't enough challenge for you, you mad, maverick renegades, you absolute giga-chads among men who can sweep impressionable young maidens off their feet with a simple smile, a wink, and a quasar blast downing an automaton dropship to the awe of all. There's also a suggested loadout for this Alliance order. First of all, the exploding crossbow is very much serviceable after under its repeated buffs and upgrades from the Ministry of Science, and most bots generally do not prefer to be in the middle of explosions. It can be carried with one hand, making it ideally suited for carrying those intel packages without sacrificing combat prowess, but it does tend to suffer a little in close quarters. Seriously, this thing is like firing tiny, high-explosive grenades that can easily blow your tail off, which can be problematic if there's a jetpacker right in your face. I personally prefer my beloved Judy, who tends to the needs of light and medium bots, be they on the ground or in the air, with gusto and grace, bot orders are orders. Your secondary is the... P2 Peacemaker. Now, I know I'm on record as saying that no one uses this who has the option to use anything else, especially since we have the absolute hand cannon that is the Senator, or the Verdict that is basically everything the Peacemaker wants to be, but better. But the Liberator is perfectly serviceable in most difficulties, and the MG-43 machine gun is one of the most flexible weapons available to us, so maybe this basic weapon is worth another look. It could be good. I'll be honest, I haven't used this since my time of basic training last March, so given how much our other weapons have been buffed, it could be completely different from what I remember. Next up is the utility slot, stun grenades. These things used to be meta a few pack cycles ago, but with how many buffs we've gotten, they are not as absolutely necessary as they once were, proving that buffs can afford a meta build just as easily as nerfs can. Tech notes, Ministry of Science. Stun grenades are extremely useful in a vast number of situations. Jetpackers trying to embrace you in a frenzied death hug? Stun them. Hulk refusing to leave you alone? Stun it. Dropship dumped an entire marching band's worth of metal buttheads right in your face? Stun them all and walk away at a casual pace like a boss. No complaints here. There's also a recommended armor and cape set here. Freedom Alliance can't be walking around just looking like some random schmucks, right? We're polite, professional, have a plan to kill everyone we meet, and look very, very good doing it. To that end, the TR-40 Gold Eagle armor and helmet is recommended, which also comes with the extra padding passive. Getting the value of heavy armor with the mobility of medium? Yes, please, I like that trade. The suggested cape is the light of eternal liberty, flying the colors of the Freedom Alliance, silver and gold with a tasteful bit of dark. I don't often take off my Malevelon Creek cape, considering that's where my psyche first snapped, and the bots realized that, yes, she does go for the eyes when you antagonize the angel enough. But this might be a good occasion to try out some new styles. Variety is the spice of death, don't you know? Now we move into stratagems. First on the list, Quasar Cannon. Considering, as I record this, the focused battlefield is Marfark, its cold climates will make this even more effective. It's basically a recoilless rifle with a charge-up and unlimited ammunition for dropping dropships and slaughtering hulks in bulk. Sounds great to me. Your backpack slot is going to be a supply backpack to keep those stun grenades raining, crossbow bolts flying, and your team well supplied. Your support weapon isn't going to need ammunition, so give freely, be that explosives to your enemies or band-aids to your team. Next, we have the old reliable pairing, Eagle Airstrike and Orbital Precision Strike. Red Strats Helldivers unlock early on that remain perfectly viable in every difficulty and warfront, regardless of foe or situation. With multiple charges, and a fast cooldown backup to fall back on when the Eagle is off doing a grocery store run, you're always going to have a card to play. As a final note, boosters, stamina enhancement, or experimental infusion. Both of these I would regard as absolute staples of a squad's loadout, and one of the first things I check in my own loadout screen. When it comes to stamina, speed is the essence of war. It's also what the Helldiver's life hinges upon more often than not. You go slow, you die. Experimental infusion is also quite lovely, giving you some damage resistance and extra speed every time you stim, or when someone pops you with a stim pistol. It also gives you the impression of knowing what time tastes like, but I think that's just the Pervacure stim mixture talking. That's been Liberty's latest with me, ponderatheradioangel. Operation Vanguard Horizon will run from Monday, October 21st, to Thursday, the 24th, wrapping up with plenty of time to spare for Liberty Day prep. I will also be participating in this Alliance order, using the recommended loadout, so who knows? Some of you might get lucky and have the honor and privilege of carrying me to victory and extraction. Yes, I know the honor is all yours. Joking aside, let's spill some fluffing oil together. Hit them hard and make the devils pay. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to walk away, to run, you never can. There'll be time out to count when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold up. Know when to fold up.
This job is so fluffing cool.